Giving catnip to a cat can lead to some pretty hilarious shenanigans. One trip with the feline devil's grass, and your cat will be face deep in the living room carpet, busting a move like he's in a 1980s nightclub. And yet, have you ever wondered if lions and tigers react the same way to the nip as your average neighborhood house cat? Despite the close genetic relationship, people tend to separate the common house cat and big cats in their minds, as if they're different animals. But they have more in common than we might think. Staff members at Big Cat Rescue, a sanctuary in Florida, were regularly asked by visitors if lions and tigers enjoy getting down with catnip. To find out, they decided to give each of them a bag of it, and the results were totally hilarious. There may be no seedy feline underworld where catnip is exchanged for a few licks of some Friskies treats, but there very well could be. House cats can turn into straight fiends when there's catnip on the line. A cat's reaction to catnip is usually a curious sight to see. Before the herb sedative effects kick in, they roll around and kick their feet. In other words, cats affected by nip will absolutely lose their minds. That begs an interesting question. Would catnip have the same effect on a mighty lion that it would on your tiny by comparison house cat? Would a tiger be reduced to a rolling, lolling heap, or would he stick his nose up at the stuff, too refined to indulge? That's a question the folks at the Big Cat Rescue Center heard all the time. So the senior keeper, Chris Poole, decided to put it to the test. Finally, we would have a definitive answer to a question we didn't know we needed the answer to. The experiment was a simple one. First, Chris would throw some catnip into paper bags. Then, he'd crumple up the said bags and drop them into the cages of a few big cats. Finally, he'd film the results to see what happened. Alex the tiger was first to receive a bag of catnip, and he wasted little time going to town on it. In fact, Alex was so into the catnip that he started chewing mouthfuls of the stuff. His movements, however, were a bit more restrained, and he didn't quite roll around like a house cat. Reno the leopard, on the other hand, didn't hold back. One whiff of that catnip, and he gave his mind, body, and soul to the herb. He ripped at the bag, rolled around on it, and just generally enjoyed getting into the cat drug alone in his cage. Warning: big cats on catnip might lead to lackadaisical head bonking. Side effects include headaches and half-hearted fights with your cage mate. These two, Natasha and Willow, didn't get that memo. When the catnip entered their systems, they became quite the frisky felines. Sabu, the Siberian tiger, really gave himself the sensation of the catnip. Like a late-night rave-goer, he gripped his vice of choice tightly to the chest and rocked slowly back and forth. Periodically, he would look up as if confused, unsure of where he was. Saber needed the catnip, and he needed it right meow. With a quick strike, he lunged at the bag, bringing it straight to his powerful jowls. Then he treated the paper bag like a famished fast food junkie pulling out of a drive-thru would for a box of fries. Amazing Grace only needed a brief rubbing on the catnip before she completely felt the effects. She knocked the bag out of reach, but in the end, that really didn't matter. She went with the vibes and rolled around. She was in kitty heaven. Last was Joseph the lion. He wasn't about the catnip life anymore. He didn't enter a rescue center for nothing, after all. Still, even without the nip, he appeared to have a very placid and content look on his face. At least he had a good day anyway. Maybe these big cats are more like your house kitten than you thought. Who knew such intimidating and majestic animals could be reduced to goofs after one hit of catnip?